G'day, ZiggyD here with some Path of Exile Anarchy League, and I've finally, after much searching, I'm currently in Act 3 at level 27, come across my first Rogue Exile. So I thought I'd record the moment for you guys who haven't been playing the League, or maybe just want to see some more Rogue Exile kills. After we manage to kill this, if we can, I'll give you guys my thoughts on the League in general. I've been having a fair bit of fun with it, but I do have a few thoughts to share on it. So it looks to be a melee ranger of some description, possibly a shield charge. She's got sick helmet wings as well. So what do we got? Fina Moga, resist elemental damage, resist chaos. Alright, we seem to be able to tank her pretty well. She's got she uses Viper Strike. Let's zoom in on this fight there. As you can see, I'm using Infernal Blow on my Marauder. Sick, awesome, fun skill to level with. Zoom back out here for the kill. And come on, loot explosion! Oh! So that's awesome. So we got a bit of currency and stuff like that. So the way that these guys drop their items is they drop at least one item from every single slot. So, you know, they're basically another exile. It's kind of like playing Cutthroat. So they've dropped, you know, their weapon, their shield, their armor, their rings and amulets, and all that good jazz there. So we managed to get only one rare off this particular one here. But, you know, if you're stacking a lot of item rarity, you're probably going to see a lot more. I'm going to grab that belt there as well. We've got a few other things. We've got a coral ring. This is pretty good, I think. It'd be pretty fun to make a build that moves around really quickly and hunts these guys down to gear up. I think that's it's kind of cool and kind of fun. So I'll put back to town. I'll give you guys my thoughts on Anarchy League in general. Okay, so now for my first impressions of Anarchy League as a whole. Now, I went on and played for about another hour after killing that other Rogue Exile and still haven't encountered another one, so they are indeed quite rare. Now, this brings me to my first thought about the League. The name Anarchy League seems a little bit out of place. When I heard the name Anarchy League, it suggested to me that you'd be bumping into these Rogue Exiles all the time, and that, you know, it would be a bit of anarchy when you were trying to farm and progress. You would be constantly beset by these Rogue Exiles, and Anarchy League, the name, really suits that. To me, it more feels like a Rogue Hunter sort of thing, or maybe they just could call it like Rogue League or something like that. But I guess Anarchy does sound a lot more exciting. It just feels a little bit out of place because the Exiles are quite rare and you bump into them quite rarely. It's almost like finding uniques, though probably you might encounter them a bit more often. Well, I have encountered a Rogue Exile and I haven't found any uniques yet on this run through. So overall, this isn't a bad thing though. Like a misnaming, you know, a little bit misleading in terms of the name, but it's still pretty exciting when you do bump into them. Having them be rare means that, you know, you're sitting there with global chat open and someone will bump into a Rogue Exile and they'll exclaim, they'll be like, oh yes, I found a Rogue Exile, and it'll be an exciting little fight and everyone will be like, kill it, kill it. And that's pretty cool. My first Rogue Exile fight wasn't too difficult, but talking to some other people, apparently some of them are quite difficult, quite tough. I think it's going to depend on your build. I've got a pretty tanky melee build, so the Exile I came up against was not too difficult to fight in just one-on-one melee combat like that. I have plenty of regen. Viper Strikes aren't too big a deal for me, but maybe another build that might have frozen me, or been like a ranged build or a summoner build or something. Some other build might have been much more difficult for me, or if you're playing like a ranged build, some sort of like flicker striking melee Rogue Exile could be pretty tough to deal with, but overall it's pretty exciting. I really also like the fact that you get one item of loot from each slot. That's really cool. It means that, you know, you can potentially think, well, I really need some upgrades for this and this slot. I really need some new boots and gloves, and you kill those, you know you're going to get some boots and gloves, and they might just be better as well. So that's pretty cool. I think there might be a little bit of metagame in the future where people stack a lot of rarity and create like this sort of pseudo PvP build where they go and hunt down these Rogue Exiles with a lot of move speed, and they, you know, just search through the zones for them and hunt them down just for the rare explosion that you can potentially get off them, and that would be really cool to see. I'd like to see that in the future. So overall, a lot of fun. Now the second part that makes this really fun is, I've talked about in the past, that the fact that these are new leagues means that grinding gear games can try things like new items. They can try removing old items that they want to, you know, test for balance and things like that. So you can see the new amulets and new rings are in here. And that's really cool as well. And also the fact that it allows them to do essentially a ladder reset to refresh the economy, and we now have this awesome new exciting economy, and I love starting off in a long-term league with nothing, basically, with nothing, just having to level through and start building up my wealth from scratch. I really like that, trading my way to the top as I progress. Very exciting stuff, and it's awesome as well to see how sort of the the non-hardcore game, because I'm traditionally a hardcore player and it has its own way of managing the economy, but playing in default the economy was getting pretty inflated. And Anarchy, might still see some inflation, but since it's a 4-month reset, pretty cool to be able to see, how it can sort of be cleaned out essentially every now and then. Very, very exciting. Also, there's tons of people online. That's really good to see. Concurrency is super high. There has been some instability. I've run into some weird things like not being able to join or leave parties, oddly enough. Not being able to join instances a few times. A couple times today I ran into that sort of thing. And a couple bit of rubber banding. However, I have to say something that people will be interested in is the new anti-desync code that they've put in, which forces you to rubber band if you're desync pretty badly for a few seconds or something like that, or you're taking damage, or if you get stunned or something like that. It's a very specific little thing, but it's very noticeable. A lot of the times you think, I would have died just there, but instead you got rubber banded back and it saved you. So that's a really cool new addition to the game in general. But overall, having a lot of fun with Anarchy League, having a lot of fun with this build, which I'll talk about in a future video, and pretty good stuff overall. If you're, you haven't played Path of Exile in a while, now's a really good time to either jump into Anarchy or Onslaught League, because they're pretty exciting. And someone just reached level 53. Competition's fairly strong at the moment. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.